Hey, how's it going? My name is Ramon Dees. I'm the 48 Days Marketing Coach, and I'm really glad to have a few moments to talk with you today about how to pitch your news story to the media. Okay. Now, I've been working with local business owners, some not so local, for the last 10 years. And I love helping my clients to become more productive and profitable by helping them in the area of sales and marketing process improvement. I believe the essence of business is all about getting and keeping customers. And so today I want to talk with you really briefly about how you can pitch your news story, your idea to the media and attract attention to your business or cause by helping journalists to reach their goals. Okay, so let's jump right into it because your time is valuable. That's a headshot of me that was taken a few years ago. Gained a couple pounds, but that's still a really good likeness of what I look like. And again, I've been serving small business owners since May of 2005. I do have a degree in mass communications with an emphasis in PR and advertising, but 95% of what I've learned and what I use to help my clients, I've learned in the real world. Became a HubSpot certified inbound marketing professional in July of 2014. And I'm also an endorsed coach at 48days.com, founded by Dan Miller. It's a phenomenal book, just released uh, an anniversary edition. I'm not sure if it's the 20th anniversary or 21st, but I encourage you. It's a great book as it relates to knowing how to marry your true calling to what you do in the marketplace day in and day out. But keys to effective pitching, okay? Number one, if you got an idea you want to get in published in the media, you really want to understand and meet the need of reporters and editors, okay? You got to understand what their needs are and then meet those needs. And that is going to put you in ahead of the pack when it comes down to the sometimes hundreds of pitches that they receive on a daily basis. Let me give you an example of what I mean. It's probably been about 5 years. I was driving here in the metro Atlanta area where I live, actually right in Conyers, and I was listening to Neil Bortz that day. I just happened to be listening to talk radio, and Neil Bortz was talking about reading something on his Amazon Kindle. I'll never forget it. And he was looking for content that he could deliver to his audience, his radio listening audience. And that was a prime example. I mean, he was talking about this, probably 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I say it to illustrate this point. Reporters and editors are always looking for content that they can deliver to their audience that's going to add value to their readers, to their listeners, and to their viewers. Okay? It doesn't matter whether it's print, magazine, newspaper, TV program, or radio. Reporters and editors live to provide value added content to their audience. So, as a business owner or maybe someone who leads a nonprofit organization, it's critical that you understand that you want to position yourself to be an asset to them if you want your idea to be pitched. So it's got to fall in line with a piece of content that would solve their immediate need or maybe even problem or concern. Okay. If you provide relevant and valuable content, you might become a trusted resource. Now, what I mean by that is this. Um, I've got a chiropractor who I've been seeing, gosh, probably about 3 years now. And the whole idea to put this video together came from, he asked me, his name is Dr. Brian Utley. He's right in the Decatur area of Atlanta, north of 285 on Memorial Drive, and provides phenomenal service, by the way. But he grew up in this community, and he and his brother both grew up in this community, and now they're serving the community with, they're both chiropractors, both licensed chiropractors, and in an office, utleychiropractic.com. And he just ran by me an idea on how they could uh, pitch a story to the local news. So we talked about it in his office, and I knew right away. I said, "Wow, there are a lot of local business owners who would love to get the media attention because it carries something called the halo effect. You know, um, news stories or publicity is a lot more believable than advertising. So if you can pitch your story to the news media and get them to do a story on you, it can be worth tens of thousands of dollars in advertising that you get at no cost. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to provide relevant and valuable content. And if you do it consistently, you might become a trusted resource. And when I say trusted resource, There are editors that are known to pick up the phone and reach out to professionals that they have come to trust and know that, wow, I've got a veterinarian over here, or I've got a cardiologist or a chiropractor, or I've got someone that just always provides really insightful and valuable information that's helpful to my audience. And so, if you can gain that type of positioning in the mind of a reporter or an editor, that can be worth its weight in gold. Now, let's just drill down and get very specific here. What is a media pitch? Presenting your news story idea to a reporter or editor in a way that helps them see what's in it for them. Okay. You want to help that reporter or editor see how your idea will fill a need that they have. Now, keep this in mind. You want to expect to have more pitches denied than accepted. Okay. That's just the nature of publicity. Editors and reporters get ideas pitched to them constantly, day in and day out, day in and day out, and they live on deadline. Okay, so they're sorting through these pitches and they're looking to see, hey, does this story fit where we are today? Does it fit what's going on in our editorial calendar? Um, so you might have a great story idea. It may not fit this week. It might fit next week. It may not fit this quarter. It might fit next quarter. What's important is to make sure that you understand some particulars about the publication that you're looking to or show that you're looking to have your story broadcast published in, and you also want to understand the individual reporter, editor, and what their role is within that media venue, so that you're speaking to what they actually need. Okay. Earn the respect and top of mind positioning by making sure that you know what their role is and you're providing value added content based upon their role. The last thing you would want to do is pitch a health and wellness editor or reporter a, a business story that has no health or wellness angle to it. Okay. Now, I want to give you 11 themes that are considered newsworthy, because one of the most important things is that if you're going to pitch a story, you want to build upon themes that are established in the minds of reporters and editors as things that they consider newsworthy. Because if you pitch something that's not newsworthy, then you start out behind the eight ball. Now, the number one, at least that we're going to go over, I'm not saying it's the best one, but the number one theme is conflict. And when I say conflict, keep this in mind. Reporters, there's professional storytellers, okay? And a good story has conflict. But just think about it. When we surf Facebook, YouTube, some of the videos, some of the pictures that get the most attention, especially video, are videos that have conflict within them. Fights, or I just last night I was watching a news story about a chase, a high-speed chase that was going on in California, and a gentleman that was carjacking people. Okay. Um, so I want to give you an example though. I'm a marketing guy, and one of the things that a service that I've provided to clients in the past is search engine optimization, which means it's all about um, optimizing a website so that it ranks on the first page of Google or Yahoo or Bing. But you want your website to rank high in the search results, because anywhere between 60 to 80% of all searchers, they look at the top three listings, organic listings on the first page. Let's just say Google, where the lion's share of the traffic is. So when it comes down to search engine optimization, here's a conflicting idea that people go back and forth on in my industry in terms of marketing, and it's the issue of duplicate content. So if I wanted to pitch a story to the media, and let's say I understand that the prevailing thought is duplicate content on your website will hurt your search engine rankings, well, I might approach a business writer and I might pitch a story that goes against the grain and says three undeniable proofs. This is a possible headline. Three undeniable proofs that duplicate content will rocket your website to the first page of Google. See, that idea flies in the face of what may be commonly accepted. But if I can validate my point of view, then hey, that might make it as a piece of publicity and draw some attention to my company. Now, another angle is a local angle. Most news organizations, they cover a specific geographic range. Okay, that's why NBC, ABC, CBS, they all have affiliates in each and every city. you know, uh, a newspaper, radio station, TV, let's say Buffalo, New York, where I'm from, they may cover a report on a local charity event, um, like the Lynx. I just think of them. I received a scholarship from them, graduated from high school. But it's unlikely that they're going to report on, let's say, uh, new housing development in Florida, okay, because it's not local. So that's another established theme. A third theme is something, if there's an incident, okay, that happens. So, as an example, anything that goes wrong, uh, in our society, it has the potential to become newsworthy, such as an explosion, a car crash, a school shooting, unfortunately. Um, Here in the metro Atlanta area, recently, I'm recording this video on the 10th of February 2015. There was a very recent issue in the news with the former chief of the Atlanta Fire Department, Kelvin Cochran, as it relates to a book that he wrote and some statements that were made concerning his convictions around what the Word of God, the Bible says, concerning homosexuality. And so that became an issue of incident and a significant firestorm over that, literally. Of course, he was removed from office and, a lot. But again, that's an example of an incident. Now, then the fourth theme is things that speak of extremes or superlatives, okay? A reporter loves to be able to speak to or write, report on an issue that might be the last, the first, the best, the biggest, the smallest. Um, if your story contains any supreme or superlative, it's a good chance that it can be considered newsworthy. I'm going to give you an example that is definitely not our claim to fame, but I say our, being from Buffalo, New York. The Buffalo Bills were the only team in NFL history to get four consecutive shots at the Super Bowl and lose all four. Um, Not a good situation, but hey, that was an extreme, and it is what it is. So the fifth theme is new. It's no coincidence that in the word news, you have the word new. News stories have to answer the question, why now? In other words, why are you talking about this story now? And any story that's not considered um, new, if it's not current, like right now, something that happened sometimes, certain cases, 3 days ago, hey, that's old news, and it's not doesn't have a chance to get much coverage. Now, another theme is timely, things that are timely, or things that are very relevant. For instance, again, today's February 10th. In 4 days, Valentine's Day is coming up. So events that are going on as it relates to this upcoming holiday, um, dating events, could be a marriage conference or a singles conference or anything that's related to love and the theme of love that has a greater opportunity. Let's say if you own a dating service and you're doing something special for the Thanksgiving, or excuse me, Thanksgiving, another holiday. You're doing something special for the Valentine's holiday. Um, you know, people who want to date get first session free or something like that. Okay, that can be considered newsworthy. And then of course scandal. Boy, oh boy. No, we're not talking about being poped as in Olivia Pope, but anything that has is the nature of a scandal attached to it. Um, that's going to be considered newsworthy in many cases. So that pretty much speaks for itself. Well, we all understand what scandal is like. Another theme that's really an attention getter when editors or reporters are making a decision on whether or not you know they're going to cover a particular story. David versus Goliath, big guy versus little guy. Okay, Now, understand this: the media, in many cases, they do, excuse me, they position themselves as the protector of the disenfranchised, those that have been exploited, the little guy, who's, if the scales are tipped against or not in his or her favor, then the news will oftentimes position themselves to cover that from the standpoint of the little guy getting more sympathetic coverage. So that's a great angle to take. Incompetence. Now, this can definitely be a good angle to utilize. As an example, let's say you've got a corporate executive who just can't seem to get it right, maybe in his personal life or what have you, or definitely his public life if he's an executive and uh, he's just falling down on the job. One historical example, not too distant history, Lindsay Lohan. She was in the news for quite a while, and her attorney was viewed. There are articles online where he was viewed as incompetent. Okay. Um, Another theme is things that have an element of surprise to them. Okay. Stories with an unexpected hook. Um, Let me give you an example. I've got a client who runs a vitamin store, and I'll never forget seeing a story on the nightly ABC News a couple of years ago, and they were talking about the dangerous effects of supplements. Now, most of the time when we think about vitamins and supplements, we think about the benefit that they bring to our lives and not how they might hurt us or harm us. Um, you can look at consumerreports.com, I think it is, and I saw a headline. Um, just in doing some research in preparation for this brief video, where some supplements are really, according to Consumer Reports, they're prescription drugs. So again, it's surprising if you think you're taking a supplement that's, obviously it's over the counter, nothing dangerous about it, and then to find out, there's a prescription drug in there, or it's more prescription drug than it would be vitamin or supplement. That's the element of surprise. And the last thing that I want to cover right now is the theme of hypocrisy. Okay. And hypocrisy, is pretty self-explanatory. If you happen to be or someone, let's say they have a position of being a anti-gay rights politician, but then they get caught with a gay lover. Or let's say someone is the president of your local SPCA, an animal shelter, and then they're caught, fighting dogs. Um, so they're taking a position in their life and lifestyle that directly contradicts and flies in the face of the public stance and position that they've taken. So those are all established themes, and if you build your approach, your pitch on these themes, then it definitely puts you in a favorable position to move forward. Okay. Now, a couple things you want to remember when you're pitching by phone. Number one, if you get a journalist on the phone, you want to find out if they're on deadline. Two, introduce yourself, and if you represent a company or nonprofit organization, introduce yourself and the company that you represent. Have your pitch written in bullet form, just brief talking points, nothing too detailed, so you can hit the high points as you're talking to that editor or that reporter. You want to make sure that you give them the headline of your story idea and make sure you clarify your sources when you can. Now, let me say this because some people don't aren't familiar with this concept, but the headline on something that's written, and when you're speaking to a media professional, your headline is your opening sentence. There is stated research and data that shows the headline represents 80% of the effectiveness of an advertisement or promotional piece. So 80% of your investment of time in putting together your pitch is going to be revealed in the very first sentence that you say and how you position your idea. Okay. Make sure that you're ready to answer any questions. If a reporter or an editor begins to ask you questions, even though they're on deadline, again, it's an obvious sign of interest. You want to be ready. You want to have their questions, be ready to field those questions and respond appropriately. And in all of this, hey, develop critical listening skills. Listen to what they are saying and listen to what they're not saying. If you catch a reporter who's on deadline, and you can ask him, okay, hey, I respect your time. Do you have 30 seconds for a brief pitch? Can I pitch an idea to you for just 30 seconds? Okay. Respect their time by all means. And if they reach out to you, be sure to call them back right away. If you give them an idea and they can't talk to you right away, and you get off the phone, but they say, "Hey, send it to me via email." And if they call you, you want to make sure that you respond promptly, ideally within 15 minutes. You don't want to wait 6 hours. Again, reporters and editors live on deadline, and you miss that window, you may miss your opportunity. Make sure you do the following: read the publication or publications, watch the shows where you desire coverage, media coverage, um, and get to know those who cover your industry. Okay, uh, do your best to reference something that they said or wrote in a previous story, because it's a great way to establish rapport. As someone who's professional, you understand what their roles are, you understand what their goals and objectives are, and you can speak directly to their needs, to their world, and you show yourself to be relevant and credible when you do that. Okay. Now, here's what I'd like to know. I want to know what would help you. I put together this really brief video because, again, I've gotten this question from numbers of clients. I just happened to get it recently from my chiropractor. Um, you can reach out to me on Facebook at ramondees.biz. You can reach out on Twitter or LinkedIn. And by all means, you can go to my website, 48daysmarketingcoach.com. I would love to get your comment at the end of this blog post. I want to know what kind of content would help you. How can I help you to grow your business? What kind of questions do you have? So I look forward to hearing from you. I trust this has served you well, and I hope you make it a great day. Take care, and we'll be in touch.